white flag waving for Jacob Allen at Dodge City Raceway Park. 3/8 of a mile. Back straightaway for the final time. It finally happens for Jacob Allen. He is a World of Outlaws winner.
I guess let's start, Jacob Allen, World of Outlaws winner. How does that have a ring to it?
It feels so good. It's a lot better than you've been so close so many times. Is tonight going to be the night? Or Johnny getting up there saying, looking for his first career World of Outlaw win, and just to finally, accomplish that is a very rewarding feeling.
So, I mean, it's you woke, you go to bed last night, you wake up this morning. Is there a weight off of you today of some sort?
Oh yeah, a weight that I don't really know how to describe in words or to really explain to people, but it's something that somebody can ask a question of what it mean to you, or the pressure, or any kind of questions, however they want to word it. But it's something that I felt like was always on my mind, no matter what I was doing, whether I'd be eating breakfast or out on a lake tubing with some friends, whatever it might be. It always felt like the weight of winning an outlaw race was always on my mind. It's always been a dream of mine to win an outlaw race, but then to have success in all the different parts of the night, win dashes and quick times and all the different things, and to not win, it would start to really eat at me a lot. And I wouldn't say that, to an interviewer or whoever else, because I don't really like to, have people think like I'm dwelling on it or whatever. Like, I just try to be cool about things and be positive, and I kept that in mind for myself. But yeah, I feel like a whole new guy right now. It's so cool. I feel amazing.
You mentioned there about being asked questions, and so that's my next question is, how relieved are you to not have to answer the question anymore of, is tonight the night, when is it going to happen? Like, that question's off the table now. Like, no one can ever ask you that one again.
No, they can't. No, it's I wasn't bothered by being asked those questions by any means. It was just like, I don't know how to answer those questions as well, but I can tell you that any night that I race, I try to win, and I'm always going to do my very best. I just haven't figured out how to complete a whole 30-lap race and be the guy in the lead at the very end. So I just feel so good to finally have won an outlaw race. I mean, that getting over that hump of getting that win and feeling the pressure, like, of leading just to a halfway point, and just feeling the pressure of, like, okay, you're getting closer, but like you still have halfway, and then it fall apart or break down like at Stockton with 2 to go. So it's like you've been so close to the very, very end, and something happened where it didn't allow you to win the race. So I didn't ever take any of it for granted last night, because I know how fast it can change, and it finally just played out in my way, so it was nice.
Is there a part of you last night that's sitting there in the car watching the laps run down, just waiting for something to happen?
No, I don't think like that at all. I don't, people say, oh, Jake, you have such bad luck, or, whatever people say, I don't really know, but I hear bad luck a lot, and I don't think of it bad luck. I just think of there's circumstances that were thrown at me. It's just life, kind of. And I just look at how you can make those situations better, and then, learn from them and be better the next time you're in those situations. I mean, shit kind of does happen, and like, you can't help if you crash. I mean, nobody's trying to crash or pop a tire or blow a motor when they're ever, really. So, that's just part of life, and you can't help those things. So yeah, I just don't dwell on that. I just try to always look at those situations and how you can, better yourself from them.
I guess kind of walk me back through that race last night. It was a pretty challenging and unique track surface that we wouldn't normally get here at Dodge City. Pretty hammer down. What was the biggest struggle of it? I know passing was at a premium, and some lap cars presented some challenges, but kind of walk me back through the 30 laps last night.
Well, in the very start of the race, I I got the start and I went low, and that's where I thought was going to be the good spot. But in the dash, so I went low and we went around, and I saw a car going on the high side. It looked like they were going to get a run on me on the outside. So I moved up, and I didn't see that car for about another lap or so. And then I look, coming off of 2 again, I look low and I see another red car, and I'm like, well, man, like somebody's on me pretty good. And watching the video, in the race, I thought it was TK, but it was Logan. So so I knew there was a car there. So I went low the next lap because that's where they were, trying to make a move on me, is on the low line. And then finally hit about 2 good laps low, and I just felt like that was a good pace for me. So I just stuck to that, and then just really focused on hitting my marks right, not trying to think about anything else besides, at the times I was by myself, just hit those marks right. And then when you get to lap traffic, just make your moves when you get up to them. And some lap cars were like getting all squirrely and sideways and hitting holes and things like that. But that's the part, like the beauty of it. And I was thankful enough to get through them the way I thought was pretty good. So yeah, it was cool to be able to go high and low when you needed to. It was a little struggle to get off of 4 when you were trying to do lap cars. You could get a run on the top, but on the exit they would beat you. So I felt like the best thing for me to do if I couldn't pass them low was to go high and then kind of turn it down and try to carry speed. But other than that, it was pretty cool. It was a good race.
One of the unique aspects of Dodge City here is the scoreboard with the lap counter in the infield. Are you guys able to see that when you come off the front stretch and take a look at it when you come off 4? And what's your thoughts as that number's ticking down, if you can see the numbers on there?
Yeah, so so obviously like under yellow you would check, see the laps, you can see them a lot better going slow. And we got going up to speed there, and I felt like, so there was a caution like at lap 15 of the 30 lap race. So we got going up to speed, and I felt like we had raced for a few laps, and I glanced at it and I saw it was at least in the 20s. And at that point I did, like, we're talking like real quick thoughts. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not really thinking too much here, but like, I mean, in the back of my head, aside from trying to hit my marks, I was like, don't focus on that. Like, just don't focus on winning your first outlaw race. Just focus on racing the track and hitting your marks, because that's what's really important. That's what you really need to be focused on at that moment. So at that time, I cut the laps out of my head, and I did check back up one more time, and it was 3 to go. And I was like, at that time, I didn't let anything get to me, because I know I had about 3 to go last year in Stockton leading, and I blew up. And I just, like I said, I blocked it out of my head again. But when I came to the white, and I never led a race and took the white flag. So when I got down the backstretch, the emotions were starting to build up. Like, here we go, we're finally gonna win a race, and we did, and it was such an amazing feeling. It was great.
What is that feeling when you see the white come around and get the checkers? I know if everyone by now has seen the GoPro video we put up of the cool down lap and the ride back to the scales and back through the pits for you, but just take me through that whole moment from the checkered flag to being pushed back out onto the track for victory lane.
Yeah, so having that video is super cool. I mean, I can't, I'm not one to like really yell, outside the car and in front of a bunch of people, but not even really thinking about the camera being there. That has nothing to do with any of it. And yeah, I mean, it just was like so much thought and so much hard work and time in the racing, and so many different emotions to get to that point, and just kind of like all let out at once. I mean, when I got through the checker flag, it was like all that was done. All those thoughts and the load on my chest was all gone. It was all so refreshing and rewarding, and I just felt like I never wanted to slow down. I just wanted to yell and keep going fast, and I just felt great, and I didn't feel emotional, like where I was gonna cry. No, like people see me cry and like all that crap, and like I don't want to cry like all the time, because like I don't feel soft like like that, like where I want to cry. Like I'm fine with like being emotional, being happy, and being genuine about it. I don't just cry to cry by any means, but I felt like being emotional a lot of times came from people asking you questions that you've spent a lot of time thinking about, and it kind of hits you in the heart because it's like kind of personal about how much that really means to you and how much you're thinking about it. So last night I didn't really feel emotional more than I felt just jacked up to finally freaking just win a race, and it was good just to get that off my chest. It was on me a lot more than people probably will ever know.
You mentioned there in your last bit about the all those thoughts, all this this real journey that you and the Shark crew have been on. This kind of 7-year point to get you to last night. So, I mean, and I know you mentioned that at the end of last season you had thoughts about just walking away and hanging it up and wanting to be done with the frustration. But I guess take me inside your head for those frustrations and just how, I don't quite know how to word this, but how dark did things have to get for you to get to the point of considering walking away from it all?
Yeah, I don't know, like, so how I kind of look at it is like I was just living like not the right kind of, what I would say, the right lifestyle I think you should have to be a winner against the competition that I'm racing against, at least up to like how I think it should be. As far as like, I wasn't really working out. Like, I'm a thin guy. I feel like I'm fairly strong, but like I was just taking that for what it was, and then I'd race, and then I would eat like crap, and in the off season I'd spend a lot of time hanging out with my friends, going drinking beers at the bar, like just not thinking about racing the way I should be or caring about it, and not just having a whole focus on all the small things that matter. What I realize is that it's an everyday kind of thing. You can't just be gun-ho about it for a month and then be half gun-ho another month. And what I think happened is I've always loved racing. I love racing. It's part of my family. It's just something I've always been around, and I truly do love it. And at the end of last year, I got thinking about like other things that I would try to do or this and that, and then a short time after that, I started on the pole at World Finals, and that was like a nice, refreshing feeling to have a good run for myself. And it was like, I'm 25. I've spent all this time putting into sprint car racing, and I just couldn't really imagine what else I would be doing. And I thought about all those other things I was doing away from the racetrack, and even a little bit at the racetrack, as far as working on my car or studying the track or just caring about the whole racing deal as far as how to go about it. So I just looked at it as I was creating my own negativity, like I was creating my own bad attitude. I was almost feeling sorry for myself, giving up on myself, and just not really being like Jacob Allen, like who I am. I've always been a pretty happy guy. I've always been smiling, always feel pretty positive, but I created that own positivity and happiness because I've always pushed to have that and work hard at it. So I started going down this path of like being careless and not very focused. So I started changing it up a little bit there in the off season, but not too strong. And then we got into quarantine, and I was like, I got drunk a couple times with me and Dad, like not like anything crazy, but like me and Dad, we were chilling, like we had some like spaghetti one night and drank a bottle of wine, like got drunk and had a hangover, and I was like, dude, it was like 2 nights in a row we got drunk off a bottle of wine or something. And I was like, dude, I'm not gonna like just do this the whole month we have off like racing. Like, I don't want to do this. Like, I want, when we get the green flag to go race again, I want to be like feeling good, like I've prepared for this. So at that day, I was like, this is it. Like, I'm not drinking, I'm not gonna eat like shit, I'm gonna work out, and I'm gonna do all the things that I believe is gonna make me the racer that I believe that I am. And it might not take a month, it might not take 6 months, it might not even take this whole year, but doing those right steps, it will create success. There's no way that it can't. So I just, from that day on, I was like, I'm gonna eat healthy, I'm gonna work out, and I gotta be strong-minded about this. Like, the days I wanna be like, man, I wanna go have some beers with my friends, or go to McDonald's and eat a Big Mac, or not go to the gym and run. I'm not gonna do that. Like, I'm gonna fight through it, and it should get better. And that's what I've stuck with from when we canceled at Texas to right now, and it's been, it has been life-changing. It has been like, this is the best version of me I've ever been. I don't even know, I've never even met this Jake Allen, and it's been the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like essentially through this process, you've been proving to yourself that you wanted to do this.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I've always felt like within my own self that I can do this. I never felt intimidated by the competition. I never felt below the competition. I mean, as far as statistics and stuff, yeah, you might be below that way, but I never felt that I was below them as a race car driver at all. They might have more experience, they might have came about it and all in a different way, whatever. None of that stuff really matters. I just believe that I could have good runs, but then in the back of my head, I'd be like, I know if I started working out, or if I stopped drinking beers, or if I started eating healthy, or putting all those things together, man, I could really be like who I want to be. Like, that's what I, believed in. And that's what I started to do. Like I said, it wasn't gonna happen in 1 month or 6 months, or however it would start rolling into a positive direction. I just had to stick with it. And that's what it was. I was proving myself at 1 month of not drinking and working out and eating healthy. I was like, man, this is starting to feel really good. And then it kind of was the same thing about 3 months, but now it's been 6 months. And like I said, I just have never committed to that much time and disciplining myself with all those things of focusing for my racing. I've never done that before. So through that, I've met a new Jacob, and I feel the happiest I've ever been. I don't go through inconsistent moods of like wanting to quit, and then the next day like I love racing, or I'm happy, or whatever. Like, every day I feel focused, I feel happy, my body feels good, and that to me is a big win just in life itself, and I'm proud of myself for that.
Now, you've got a lot of drivers out in the pits who you count as friends. How were the interactions last night when you got back to the pits after Victory Lane?
Yeah, that's to me that means more than I can really explain as well, because these are all guys that I look up to. I didn't really race locally when I first started. I mean, I did, but I didn't really understand what I was exactly doing at the time. And I've kind of been brought up racing through the world of Outlaws in a sense, and most of these guys have seen me since I've started, or I've known since I've started. And through that time, I've seen it where maybe I was a laughing part of the thing, to where I slowly started seeing them give me advice or become my friends and talk to me, or when I was speaking, they would listen to me versus not listening to me. And to watch them get to like this year, and where I really feel like these guys look out for me, they care about me, and they support me as a racer. And I would almost say pretty much every racer said congratulations to me last night, and that really does mean a lot to me, because I feel like that means I have their respect, whether we talk every day or we never talk at all. And to me, respect is probably the most important thing that you can have, not just as a race car driver, with people in general. And that's what I want more than anything, and to get congratulations from them all, to me is a sign of respect, and that does mean a lot to me.
How blown up was your phone with notifications when you
Oh
finally
my
got to it
God.
after the race last night?
Well, I felt bad because I couldn't get signal, and I had my red deal on my text messages. So I clicked on a few, and then I couldn't get the text messages in. So I felt kind of bad. I was like, man, I hope they don't think like, I'm being, whatever by not answering them. So finally, I got the IHOP last night, and I started going, and it just never stopped. Like, the love that I was getting from people was just, you don't ever like think about it. Like, you don't ever expect that or think it's gonna be that way, or people pay attention to you or want to see you win or be that happy for you. It's something I've never thought about or could explain what that feels like, but I'm kind of like humbled that is the way it is, and people, show me that kind of love and appreciation, and I hope that never changes, because like, just because I race sprint cars and I'm an outlaw and whatever, it doesn't make me any different from, a fan in the stands or anybody. We're all like, in this together kind of thing. I'm just fortunate enough to be able to drive, and, that's kind of like what I do, but I'm no different than anybody else. So like, that's why I try to be cool and be positive, because like at the end of the day, like, I get to drive a race car for a living, and that's a really cool job. And most people in life aren't ever going to do what they love for their job, whatever it might be. So I can't ever really bitch about that. That's why I can't like hang my head or get too upset or start to have a bad attitude and show it out on display in front of people, because you want to kind of show a good example to everybody. And I think I always just try to keep that in my mind, is like, just be cool and be positive, even though it like, sucks, like for real, in some stand, like not winning my first hour. It's like, I always get on camera and try to be cool about that, but when I'm laying there in my bed, like, it sucks, like I'm not exactly pumped about that by any means. But for the people, I want to be cool and be positive. I think when you're in my shoes and you're being on the level of being an outlaw, I think you got to set a good example for people in general. It doesn't matter if they're 80 years old or 6 years old at the races. Maybe you can influence somebody to be more positive about life and different things, and I kind of try to focus on that a little bit.
You mentioned IHOP. I was going to ask what the post-race celebration looked like. Was it a couple pancakes or some waffles, or what'd you go with?
Yeah, so like I said, I don't drink the beers anymore, so I just was like, what is it gonna be? And I was like, I could go for some pancakes right now. Like, that sounds kind of good. So I got some eggs and some pancakes and a glass of orange juice, and I got to hang out with my team, a couple of the Outlaw guys, and just to have be in the booth with my dad and Hannah and Trent, who caught some really cool photos of that moment for me, was really neat. But just to be there, like, with my dad and Hannah, meant the world to me. Is like, if there's anything that I've wanted for, not just to get the Outlaw win, but just to be able to be in victory lane with my dad, has been like so important to me. Like, I made sure that I got a picture of me and dad in victory lane, because that to me is like, that's gold to me. So it was cool just to be simple, chill, orange juice, pancakes, eggs. Life was good.
Last question. Have you got a place of prominence for that trophy picked out in the motorhome?
Well, it sounds like Hannah claims it as hers. It's her. Yeah, so I guess it's Hannah's trophy, and I guess she'll be taking good care of it. I don't know. So the real question is for her. We'd almost have to get her for that. But thankfully about Hannah is she's really cool about that stuff. I got the flag. What was really cool is Zan got some confetti and things that I wouldn't really think about. I was just happy to win, and the trophy is really cool to have that to look back on. And what's cool about the Hannah is that she'll, a few years from now, she'll have it set up where it looks cool and it has the flag and all that stuff together. So I appreciate that, and right now it's just chilling next to my bed.
Well, all right, Jacob Allen, thanks for sitting down with us today, bud, and here's to going to get number 2 now.
Yeah, heck yeah, number 2.